right, so we are going into sports talk, sports with two Z's instead of an S. We have a few questions for you guys. It's actually more of like a roundtable discussion. And then we're gonna do our prop bets for the Super Bowl. There's the 6 questions I sent you guys earlier, so I think you guys know a bit of what's gonna come from that. I guess the first question I'm gonna ask you, even though I'm smiling, it's a very serious question. Do you rank Matt Ryan like with the quarterbacks?
Like, are we talking
Active.
numbers?
Yeah, so rank Matt. Let's do them right now. Right now, as far as quarterbacks go, where would you rank him? If you want to do overall, what you think of him? What's his? 16's over here getting ready, so he's about to start taking some shots. I have a feeling.
And first of all, let's narrow it down. Are we talking top 15, top 10?
Okay, so I would have to.
Yeah,
I would have to.
16 go first because he's got a whole tangent about the top 10 quarterback thing.
Yeah, so I
feel like it's about to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and let him do that.
You want him to go first? Okay, yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I do have a theory about the top 10 quarterback thing that people throw out. It's a cop out. It's just something people say, because if you look at the valley from whoever's first through fifth, good God, the drop off between 5 and 6 that's the difference between maybe having a Russell Wilson and having a Dak Prescott, and that's a big gap. So that's how I feel about when they say top 10 or top 5. But how do I rank Matt Ryan? I guess saying overall that I always felt that Matt Ryan was a very good but not great quarterback. Like a lot of people say stuff about him like he's trash, and he's not trash. Like I'm definitely biased because I hate the Falcons, but he's like, if you take a prime example with Matt Ryan is if you took Matt Ryan and you put him on the 2017 Jaguars, who had the lead in the AFC Championship game. You put him on that team, they win everything. They're winning the Super Bowl. They're winning everything.
Okay.
But with Matt Ryan, I think the thing that people detract from him is that everything has to be in place for him to be as good as he can be. He has to have everything going. He got to get protection. He got to have Julio. He got to have the running game. He can't just do it by himself. And that's why I just say that he's in the Hall of Very Good, but I could never call him elite. Yeah. So in my theory, he's a top 10 quarterback in that theory.
But just barely.
No, I wouldn't say barely.
His drop off is there.
No, yeah.
He's a part of that drop off.
I definitely see what you're talking about with regards to maybe not taking control of the game if it needs to be done. Like if the pieces aren't there, he's not the one to be like, okay, let's let's LeBron this situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So same for you, Easy, top 10, or is he out of it?
He is definitely in the top half.
Top 16.
No, like he's definitely in the top half. Like, again, I hate the Falcons, but if he's my quarterback, I wouldn't be like upset about it. I really wouldn't, because I feel like quarterbacks in general get a lot of the blame, and a lot of it has nothing to do with them. Like, I know people talk about, oh, he's not clutch because of what happened in the Super Bowl. People call him Matty Ice for a reason. Now, he ain't going to go throw a game-winning touchdown pass. But if you need somebody to get you past the 50-yard line to where your kicker can kick the field goal to win the game, Matt Ryan's the guy. And he kind of always has been. Now, lately, since 17, it's been a little different.
Hasn't been
if we
very
had kicked that
lately.
ball, we would have a Super Bowl ring right now.
If what?
So,
if we had kicked the ball in the Super Bowl, we would have a Super Bowl ring right now.
So I think Matt Ryan is better than really what like a lot of Falcons fans try to say he's not. I think he's a really good quarterback.
So what you just said, if you had him on the Saints, what would you with a offensive genius? Because I think Sean Payton is an offensive genius. With an offensive genius like Sean Payton,
we're contenders. We're NFC Championship. We're making the playoff.
Do you think? Because I think in this playoff, Drew Brees kind of held the team back a little bit because of his age.
Don't get me started on that. He's got to go.
Do you think they would have beat the Bucs with Matt Ryan if they had
absolutely,
Matt Ryan? Okay.
Absolutely.
We'd have been more.
It wouldn't have been a game.
We'd have been more efficient. because I feel like
It
Matt
would have
Ryan.
looked more like our week 1 win against the Bucks than the I guess what we played in week 9. It would
Yeah,
have looked more like the week 1 game. But I mean, Matt Ryan's what, 36, 35?
yeah.
35, 36.
Yeah, man, a 36-year-old Matt Ryan, we would gladly take him at this point. I mean,
Yep.
I love Drew. I got 2 jerseys of him. He's like one of my favorite athletes of all
See
time.
right here behind me.
But
There he is.
I mean, if you know the quarterback can't throw it, 20 yards down the field, a la Chad Pennington, like they're gonna press up on your receivers and they're gonna make these tight windows, and it's gonna be hard to get passes completely. It's just what it is.
I think Michael Thomas was saying something about it's easy to defend against the quarterback if it doesn't have a deep throw or something like that. Where it pretty much sounded like he was coming after Drew Brees. I don't know, man. I feel like we're not giving enough credit to that Tampa defense, though. And I think
they've definitely gotten better. But my issue with Tampa's defense is that their secondary is not great.
Okay.
But their front seven is amazing, which covers up the issues that they have in the secondary. I mean, You got Sue, you got Vita Vea, you got JPP, you got Shaquille Barrett. I mean, they don't have to blitz. They can send 4 with just those guys. You got Devin White, you got Levante David, which, kudos to him. He's been on trash Buccaneers teams his whole career. So, kudos for him for sticking around and, making it to the Super Bowl. But that front seven is very elite, and it covers up a lot of the secondary's flaws.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to touch more on the Super Bowl with the Bucs. One of the most important things that we got to remember that nobody else has is Tom Brady has a pact with the devil, because how the hell that man got to his 10th Super Bowl?
Yeah, hey, you and 16 agree on that.
He does. He has a pact with the devil. He has something going on. Zeno, is there any other questions, Saints related?
Well, no, the other question was Falcons, but that one's yours.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, obviously, as y'all know by now, Terry Fontenot is our new GM. He was an assistant GM with the Saints before he came over to the Falcons. So, what do you guys think of a Terry Fontenot hire? And since it's inevitable that players usually come from the other organization that somebody comes from, what's the one player that if Terry Fontenot brought him over here to Atlanta, y'all would want to burn down Atlanta that would come from the Saints?
Alvin Kamara.
Oh, well, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. I got some realistic options for you guys though, because we got some cap issues going on. First of all, Terry Fontenot is a great hire. Well, yeah, but Terry Fontenot is a great hire. I think right away you guys will see improvement in how the way you guys draft and evaluate players, because he was our director of scouting, college scouting. So the Michael Thomases, the Sheldon Rankins, the Alvin Kamaras of the world, he was the guy in charge of going and find those guys. I know Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland get a lot of credit for that, but he really spearheaded that part of our team. So I think right away you guys will see drafts look much better. You might not be a fan of the pick at first, but you'll see. Players that potentially might go from the Saints to the Falcons. For me, I could definitely see y'all going after Marcus Williams, because he drafted Marcus Williams. He scouted Marcus Williams. Trey Hendrickson's also a free agent, I believe.
If you could, for the less savvy of us, could you say what position they play?
Okay, yeah. So Marcus Williams is our free safety. I would consider him there you go. I would consider him very elite. I think he's still young. He's only 23, 24. I don't know if we have enough money to pay him to bring him back, but I know he's a free agent unless we franchise tag him. And then Trey Hendrickson, defensive end, he was second in the league in sacks this year. I think he had 13 and a half.
And we're not going to be able to pay him.
We're not going to be able to pay him because pass rushers are behind left tackle and quarterback. They're hella expensive. So I don't know if we'll be able to bring him back. But those are two people right off the bat I can see him going after, because both of them are part of that 2017 draft class that, again, he spearheaded and was a big part of bringing him onto the team.
I just thought of something crazy, right? You're talking about the guy that you guys aren't going to be able to pay. And the Falcons have the number 4 pick. And by a lot of people's words and all that stuff, they're not trying to replace Matt Ryan. They're not going to trade Matt Ryan. They might not pick a quarterback. And I think the only person out there that's worth top 4 that's not a quarterback is that Panay Sewell dude. And if he's gone, what if they trade that number 4 to the Saints to get one of your bigger guys?
No.
Well, yeah, I don't.
First of all, I'm vetoing that right now.
And then then they get the quarterback of the future.
Trades are
That ain't
tough.
Yeah,
I don't think that'll happen.
Okay,
But
that'd be crazy.
I mean, that's a good point. I haven't really like got into the draft class yet because I haven't been bothered in 16 about the prospects we should go after yet. But yeah, you're right. It's very quarterback, wide receiver, offensive lineman heavy. I mean, hell, if y'all want to, score 40 points a game, go get Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. I mean, shit, nobody's going to stop y'all. Julio, Calvin Ridley, and one of those guys. That'd be ridiculous.
We're already good with wide receivers. I don't think we need Devontae.
Yeah, I mean, hell, Russell Gage, LSU guy. Pretty good.
Been doing all right. He's been doing pretty good, actually.
Yeah, y'all love drafting these Louisiana boys. I don't get that shit.
What's his motive? I mean, his favorite is it defense or offense? Do you think?
I don't know if he has really a side. I don't remember his background. He's mostly been like a scout. I mean, the guy's just got a good eye for talent. He's been in the organization over a decade for sure.
Yeah, he's been. I think he was with the Saints for 13 years before.
Yeah,
and actually,
he's a Louisiana guy. He's from Louisiana.
Yeah, Loomis actually called up Arthur Blank and said, "You took away my general manager, like my heir apparent. He was gonna be the heir apparent."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was actually gonna say because I wonder what you think. Maybe he'll do is build around Grady Jarrett. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that, guys?
Yeah, I just think he's just gonna focus on just getting you guys like talent. I think honestly on the offensive side of the ball, I wouldn't prioritize anything except like offensive line, just because I know you guys have had a lot of injuries there, and y'all drafted some guys that haven't really performed to expectation.
Fix that secondary.
Defense is definitely where I think you're right, Zeus. Besides Deion Jones, linebackers could use some tender love and care. Secondary definitely could.
What about
I know y'all picked AJ Terrell.
Yeah,
y'all picked AJ Terrell, and I really don't know why. Because just go Google 2019 national championship game, LSU versus Clemson.
I got you, but you know
AJ Terrell got destroyed.
What about every other game?
Turned out to be the best rookie in the rookie class.
Yeah, and what about every other game in his college career?
I promise y'all, that is not saying much. Do not bank.
It's like dog.
Y'all are better banking on a banged up Keanu Neal than AJ Terrell. Please don't do it to yourself.
All right, 16. You got anything to add to this?
Well, I can understand why during this run with Sean Payton, we picked up a lot of obscure talent that people weren't really checking for that kind of turned into, I won't necessarily say stars, but very serviceable people, borderline stars. Like you look at Marcus Colston, somebody like that who was damn near Mr. Irrelevant, who was great for us until, it was 9 years of him just being steady. So I feel like the pickup in getting Fontenot was to try to find some of that obscure talent, some of those hidden gems to kind of push you guys, over the top and in trending in the right direction. Because it seemed like ever since the Super Bowl, it's been step back after step back. And maybe he's trying to, get a different mentality of trying some obscure talent, build through the draft and see where you are. I'm sure he's going to get a game plan going where it's not going to be right away. But if you could say that you're contending for the division in 2 years, he would have been doing his job really well.
Yeah, those value for money type players.
Yeah. That's how you win.
Yeah. It's not really the superstars. It's like the role players. Quick question. I know we said we're done with the Saints, but I just thought of one more. You guys sounded like you had soured on Breeze. Do you think he's done, or do you think he will try and play another year?
I think he's done, but I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back.
I feel like he's 100% coming back, just due to the fact of how he went out. And he's to this point where he's a quarterback where he's enough to win you 10 games and get you to the playoffs, but that's about the ceiling. He can get you there. He can, and Okay, let me just say this. Zeno, I don't know how long you've been watching football. I know
more like 12, 13 years maybe.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so know the Saints is only good. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is a mirage. But I was gonna say the blueprint. Look, man, till your quarterback is Billy Joe Tolliver and Billy Joe Hobart, you don't know struggle. But the blueprint for winning with an aging quarterback, if you go back and just look at the team, the 97 Denver Broncos and the 97 and 98 Denver Broncos gave everyone the blueprint. If you have an aging quarterback in his late 30s, they showed Mike Shanahan showed you how you can win a Super Bowl with an aging quarterback. You run the damn ball. I keep screaming that. I know Easy gets mad at me. You run the damn ball, okay? Run it down their throat. You had a good offensive line. You play defense.
16. I know this. You know how I know this? Because even though I've only been watching football really hardcore since 2008, that aging quarterback beat us for a Super Bowl ring. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, so like Zeus, I've only been watching, for like 12, 13 years. But I'm one of those people that goes into like
educate yourself.
Yeah, I go into like
because you got to prove your worth at the table when you're talking to other fans. So I respect it.
Yep.
So I've seen Super Bowl videos from '98 and all that stuff. But Broncos did it again with Manning to an extent. You know?
Yep. It was the same formula. I've been screaming about
on that team. He knew what he had to do.
I've been screaming about this during this 4-year run that the Saints have, is that he's probably sick of me saying, I was like, we need to play like the 97 Broncos. They were beating teams that they had no business beating. Sean Elway wasn't in his prime anymore. He just did not turn the ball over. They ran the ball down you, and then once you got your guard let down, they took the top off the defense. It was a formula. That's offensive line, get a pass rush, run the damn ball. Super Bowl.
So do you think that Drew Brees is gonna kind of get that Kobe Bryant treatment of, you're not really doing what you were doing before, but you gave us a ring, you gave us all the success. Yeah, you can come back. You know what I mean? Like
I'm a hypocrite, but I know I'm saying I don't want him back next year, but I was literally telling my brother this last year and the year before that. 16's been saying, hey, Drew's got to go for a minute. And I'm like, look, dude, we have too much loyalty to this guy to just tell him no and make him go hit the free agent market and then end his career with Jacksonville or something. Yeah. Like, Zeus, you're right. Like, if he says I want to come back, they're gonna
he's coming back.
They're gonna figure out cap space and they're gonna bring him back.
I'm a sucker
and we're gonna let somebody like Jameis Winston just walk out the door. Like, we literally did it last year with Teddy B, and it irritated me to my soul.
I'm a sucker for
Drew's like, I'm back. Teddy B's like, let him go.
For the aging players in the different sports getting their farewell tour. Like, it's their last year, and every stadium they go to, everyone's like, saluting.
I just don't think that works in football.
Yeah,
in football, especially with a QB, like you saw with Peyton Manning, probably wasn't going to retire the year that he retired, but it was just that his play went down all of a sudden. That he was, but he won a Super Bowl ring, so he's like, might as well retire now. There's no point in me coming back and having the sour last year.
He showed up towards the end of the regular season when Osweiler started to dip, and they brought him in against the Chargers. And Manning didn't throw like a 50-yard bomb or anything, but he was the field general, doing the whole Omaha thing. Like, all of a sudden, he could see the defense, and everyone's like, oh, this is the guy, and he took them to the Super Bowl.
9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions is what he was that season. He threw for 150 yards in the Super Bowl.
It's amazing.
But speaking of Super Bowl, speaking of that Super Bowl specific, I asked people, and they say they didn't see this part, but I swear I saw this. Anybody else, because I haven't seen clips of it, anybody else see Brock Osweiler slamming his helmet down during the Super Bowl, like close to the end of the game?
No, I didn't.
No.
Mm-mm.
I swear, if I had that recorded, I could probably find it. I swear I saw him just slamming it down and pissed off because he didn't get to play in the Super Bowl. And then, too bad for him, he didn't get to. 2 years later, he was out of the league.
I was actually in New Orleans.
He got paid, though. Keep getting the check, Brock.
Jesus.
He got a ring, man. Come on, get him out of here.
Right. I was actually in New Orleans for Mardi Gras during the Super Bowl that year. just random tidbits.
Oh, nice.
It's good. It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Probably drinking Hurricanes.
Yes, for sure.
Hand grenade.
I definitely liked it. I'd only been there one other time, and that's when I was 17 years old. So I was happy to be back in New York.
Oh yeah. You couldn't have fun like you did.
Of course not.
That
And I was
go
there
around.
with my parents because it was like a college tour for Tulane University. Too expensive.
Oh, you smart then. Shit.
I do all right.
Zeno's a smart one here, yeah.